whole session. Thank you.
Are you going to operate this?
Hi, Marie.
No. Magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat. Good morning to all. Thank you for this opportunity to present the Waipuna Holswell Hornby Riccarton Community Board November report to Council. First off, we start with decisions made under delegation. The board has approved the Holswell local play spaces. The board actually considered this report at its October meeting, but decided to lay the report on the table to allow time for more discussion with affected residents. At its November meeting, the board took into consideration the deputation from local residents who had informally gathered local opinion in the use of play spaces in Holswell that indicated residents would like to see swing sets at all four Holswell parks in question. That is the Westbrook Park, Shamrock Reserve, Wales Reserve, and Ritter Reserve. The board approved the officer recommendations with amendments to the landscape plan for Wales Reserve to retain its existing swing set and a request for staff to review one minor detail about picnic tables in Wales Reserve and that existing rubbish bins be retained in the interim for two other reserves. The other one is the proposed lease for the Holswell Tennis Club was approved for a period of 33 years, including renewals for an approximately 3,355 square meters at Holswell Domain. The board also approved a grant from its Borough Fund to the Hornby Community Patrol towards the Hornby Community Safety Project. The board also approved proposed no stopping restrictions along Kitty Hawk Avenue in Wigram. With the discretionary response fund allocations were made to the following: the Christchurch City BMX Club towards upgrading its track, the Champ Nation Youth Academy, Viking Swim Club, TSA Hornby Community Ministries. An off-the-ground fund allocation was also made to Mitchell Reed towards a mural in Sockburn. I believe it's the location now has been identified, and it's at 125 Main South Road on the wall of a dairy. Now we've had this sewing room Riccarton. Oak Development Trust continues to host Sewing Room Riccarton, providing a space for migrant women to learn sewing skills and work on individual projects in a supportive and relaxing environment at Riccarton Baptist Church. I believe I should be taking advantage of this since I don't have the sewing skills, so maybe I should check this one out. Yes, and then the Riccarton Community Fund Day. So the annual Riccarton Community Fund Day, organized by Oak Development Trust, took place last October 21st. And then the Pacific Language Weeks. The overarching theme for the 2023 Pacific Language Weeks was sustainability, which aligned with the Pacific Languages Strategy and fed into the UNESCO Decade of Indigenous Languages to sustain and revitalize heritage languages. 9 language weeks were celebrated throughout New Zealand from May to October this year. You would have seen these exhibits of arts, crafts, and information at the Civic Atrium just outside the Kitchen Cafe in the last few months, including performances in collaboration with local groups and council staff. The Matatiki Hornby Center, there's a large amount of work occurring in the exterior spaces at the Matatiki Hornby Center, with construction of the car park now well underway. The stormwater retention basins adjacent to Smarts Road have also been recently tidied up. Work around furniture and equipment procurement is progressing. The recruitment drive is ramping up, with about 50 roles to be filled across the library, pool, and customer service teams. A range of information sessions and open days were scheduled throughout October. Work on the program development and marketing work streams is also progressing well, and the community is being updated as the project progresses with regular newsline stories, e-newsletters, and social media posts. That's all from us. Thank you.
That's very good, Marie. Thank you very much. Thank you for your time, and good to see you. Okay, next we have Paul and Jackie from Coastal Buoywood Linwood, please. And Paul will get an extra 5 minutes, or they will both have an extra 5 minutes, to speak to the preferred supplier for the organics processing facility on behalf of the board. Thank you.
Kia ora koutou katoa, ata mātia kore mātua me ngā kaunihira, ko te reo tō tātou e hihi, ko te reo tō tātou maia, toitu te tiriti. First, some highlights from our board area. It was my pleasure to open the Woolston Twilight Gala. You can see me there giving an amazing speech. It's been a bit in the making, this gala. I just want to thank staff for all their work and to Youthtown, who are now managing the facility there. And it was wonderful to see the diversity of Woolston represented there, families of all different types and ethnicities and backgrounds. It was great. And next we have the Goat Shed Surfboard Library. They were at Penguin Street in South Shore in the morning of 12th of November with 12 of their surfboards for community to try out. The Goat Shed are a not-for-profit based in Sumner who create their own surfboards and lend them out for free. Also, I just want to mention the Streets for People Aranui, particularly the Hampshire Street Bollards and Planters. The staff have been working with Aranui Partners Group, which includes a number of local organisations, police, kāinga ora, local schools, to improve the safety in the immediate area around the Hampshire Street shops. And there was a problem, an ongoing problem over many years of people parking in the middle of the road in this median strip. So now it has these bollards on it and also has planters, which also double as protection from ram raids. The feedback is really good so far. Thanks for staff for actioning that and doing it quickly. And the Linwood Ave Community Corner Trust celebrated its 25th year of service in the Woolston community on 31st of October with a rolling morning tea for the community, including delicious mini pancakes. And it was really cool to be able to attend that. And the Avondale Community Garden held their open day on the 5th of November at their site on Mervyn Drive in the Red Zone. And finally, the Bexley Reserve Nigel Main truck pump track was recently recognised for partnership and innovation of the project in the Recreation Aotearoa Awards. The long-term plan process has been a little bit bumpy. It's fair to say, a bit messy. So I just thought I'd take this opportunity to underline our board's priorities. So I'm just going to share with you those. And this has been expressed in our board plan and also in our annual plan submissions. And we will be coming back to you, of course, around formal long-term plan submissions. So, the Pages Road Bridge, improving Bromley's roads, CRAF projects, a number of which we're uncertain of at the moment, the Orme Ave extension, the Maireho Burwood intersection, the South Shore Estuary Edge, the QE2 Master Plan, New Brighton Master Plan in public realm in support of the SEAT project, the Otakaro Avon Major Cycle Route, the Puhara Kikinui Six River Catchment Stormwater Management Program, the Waitaki Treatment Facility, the Lower Heathcote Puahu River Guidance Plan, the Otakaro Avon River Corridor Regeneration Plan, and a plan change regarding residential industrial interface, the wastewater treatment plant, and the organics processing plant, which brings me to that. As I say every month, the OPP is still there, and it still stinks, and it needs to close. It is, and it does. And today you make the final decision to end the sorry saga for good. Today you'll decide on the interim solution for the OPP and on the preferred supplier for the Ototahi Christchurch Organics Processing Facility. And I understand that I'm not making a deputation on the interim solution today, but I will say our board supported option 2. And if the council decides to accept the staff recommendation, then you need to have a backup plan to send it to Cape Valley if it keeps stinking. The community needs to hear the commitment from you today to do whatever it takes to solve this problem for good. And they will not find rest until it is closed for good. I really do not want to be back here again begging you to just close the OPP. Today we need surety. The community are rightly sceptical of the council as an institution, that it has their best interest at heart after 14 years of gaslighting and then failed solutions. So what you decide today can break with the legacy or can continue with it. By now, I think You should all know the effects of the OPP on the residents of Bromley, on their physical and mental health, and on the quiet enjoyment of their homes. And this was underlined by Vicky Walker's deputation that Jackie read out. This Christmas will be the 14th without clean air for Vicky and Andrew Walker, Jeffrey King, Bruce King, Katinka Visser, Margaret McPherson, Michael Williams, Kathy Baker, the Bromley Community Centre, Bromley School, and indeed all the people who live, work and play within the stink shadow of the OPP. It must be the last Christmas spent like this. When you come to deciding later today on who will supply the new OPP, you must not simply shift the problem. Whatever you choose, it must have assurance that no community will ever be put through something like Bromley has been. Industrial scale composting on the residential interface should never have been allowed, and it should never be allowed again. The whole saga of the OPP in my community has been a dereliction of duty on the part of the city and regional councils, one that should never be repeated. The recent efforts to find a solution and the commitment of staff and councillors alike notwithstanding. I believe this must be a salutary lesson on what not to do to communities and on how important it is to listen to the community closely when they say something is affecting them and their well-being. This should not have taken as long to get here. As an entire institution, we should commit to never doing anything like this again and to make good on its resolution in response to the wastewater treatment plant in the report to partner with East Side communities and to start to repair the relationship with them. People in working class communities like ours don't have lawyers on retainer or money available to hire them. We can make a noise, we can send emails, we can go to meetings, but what we want and what we hope for is that you, our local democratically elected government, will stand up for us, for our environmental, economic and social well-being. What we want is solidarity in the face of the challenges we face. We want you to be on our side. So when you make decisions today or any day, for you to have our best interests at heart and in mind. Thank you, and if you have any questions, I'm happy to take them.
Thank you, Paul. No, I think you've said it all. But one thing I must say, we were both at the Affirm Gala Day on the weekend, and that wasn't in your report, but that was absolutely fantastic. So
yeah, it sure was.
Good to see you there.
Yeah, congrats to actors for putting on an epic day.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
Okie doke. So now we have Banks Peninsula with Lynn and Penelope, I believe. We've got three standing up, have we? Two.
Morena. Kia ora koutou. Let me just get myself sorted here. Oh, it's good to be here again and spend some time talking to you about how we're rounding out the year in Te Paitakaraka How To, Banks Peninsula. The board accepted an amendment of wording in the terms of reference for our reserve committees. This is to help with the co-management of this relationship with staff and our wonderful reserve committees. Sometimes the little things are actually the big things, and wording can be very important, such as renaming Reserve 4673 to become the Governor's Bay Community Centre and Pool Reserve, which is a lot more appropriate. And this is a big and, with confetti and balloons, after 6 years in the making, the board endorsed the Destination Management Plan for Banks Peninsula. The plan acknowledges that all these things are interconnected, our land, the sea, the people, the culture and the history, and we want to enhance and protect what we treasure, and this means that we can host visitors from a place of generosity and integrity. So we're really happy about that. Big parties. Yet to come to the council is the changing the Rapaki Drain name to the more appropriate name Omaru in the council database, and the proposed naming of a reserve lot in Governor's Bay to Hilda Frame Reserve. Excuse me, but croaky today. We also have exciting new developments in building our capacity to communicate with the community through our new board website and plan progress. This updated website has local news articles, info on events and community board recorded meetings. Locals can also share their Summer with Your Neighbours celebration stories online, so I'm looking forward to seeing those after all of those events. And something quite special, so as you can see here at the bottom, It says progress on your plan page. All our 9 priorities are here in this page. So for example, this is on the right hand side, the proactive planning for climate change. And if you click on that, you can look down the list of actions and see what interests you. Click into the box with the plus on the side. This one here is encourage and support community-led resilience planning, including identification of hazards and risks. And if you look to the right of the screen, and this shows you what the progress is from the community board and what the with the dates that the board has made on this priority. So fantastic information for the community, and it's so easy to use. It adds another tool in our belt for an informed and connected community. We're very excited about that. With superb implementation and commitment from staff to manage this valuable resource, the work on this project is to be commended. Community engagement. So the board approved this bus shelter project initiated by Diamond Harbour residents with the goal of protecting the kids and locals from bad weather while they waited for the bus. With Littleton Port Company donating a shelter and a local builder offering to install the shelter for free, as always, teamwork makes the dream work. So that's a great example of how that can work well. Wairewa Little River emergency preparedness meetings have been held in Little River, and these have been well attended, and there's plenty of enthusiasm to further develop community plans, with community hubs being set up in Burling's Flat, Little River, and a meeting planned for Okuri Valley. And the annual community breakfast for Wairewa Little River grows every year. It could have been the live Rugby World Cup final. It could have been the amazing food, or it could have been the local band who played after the rugby finished. But whatever it was, the Little River Wairewa Community Trust fed people all morning, and the community bonds were strengthened. Unfortunately, the rugby was not a go. Cruise season is underway with the adjusted approach for passengers and buses, and we've heard good reports with 7 ships to Littleton already, and it's hopeful that this is the start of a fantastic season for visitors and locals alike. And finally, because I may not be seeing some of you again before the end of the year, from the team at Te Pātaka Rakai Hautu Banks Peninsula, we want to wish you, the council staff, and the council and members in the gallery and whoever's watching online, a festive season with good whānau time, good rest, and good Māori order all around. So Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Thank you very much. Sorry, we haven't got time. If I talk slowly, we haven't got... There you go. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you.
Okie doke. So now we have Spraden Cashmere Heathcote with Callum and Kia both here. Oh, just one. Okay. Good, mate. Good to see you again.
Good morning. I'm afraid Callum is unable to be here today, so you're left with just me. A terrible fate, I know. So today we have one part A coming to the council, which is some minor safety improvements to Rose Street. It's quite self-explanatory, but I just thought I'd highlight that this is a place which has had four accidents recorded on the Waka Kotahi accident database, and one of them was a fatality. So we are really keen to see what can be done to make this a safer intersection, particularly for vulnerable road users. So that's a really positive step. There were 2 great events recently in the board area, one of which was the Hunhei Fiesta, and I wasn't able to attend, but I believe that several of our board members did attend, one of whom is up there on stage introducing everyone. It was the Hunhei Fiesta is a great part of the Hunhei community and something that everyone really enjoys. The other one was the Waltham Pool Party. Unfortunately, I arrived too late to participate in the Manu competition, but I'm told that it was a splashing success. There have been 2 major transport facilities open in the board area recently as well. one of which was the Coastal Pathway, which everyone here will be very familiar with. I would like to take the opportunity to really acknowledge this as being a partnership between the community, council, and of course central government, who came to the party with shovel-ready funding, and a bit of a shout out to Ruth Dyson for advocating for that. Particularly, it's a great example of where you have a community with a vision and then a council that's willing to work with that community to deliver something. So that's really awesome to see that coming to that final stage. There was also the opening of the Heathcote Express major cycle route. Again, some great shovel-ready funding there. But one of the cool things is as we see these MCRs roll out, the network effect starts to build up so that you start to be, each one opens up more and more of a connection. So that's a really positive step. We've had a few workshops with Fire and Emergency New Zealand, looking at the rural-urban fire interface. So where you have urban communities that are backing onto rural spaces that are particularly at risk of wildfire. That's particularly important across our board area with the Port Hills. One big landowner, of course, in that space is council. So it was really great to have someone from the Ranger team there who was able to really talk with a great deal of knowledge about how council manages land in that space and how you landowners can engage with council when they have concerns. So just to acknowledge Paul Devlin would be remiss of me not to. Mm-hmm. It was a really great workshop, and one thing that as a board we're really conscious of the increasing risk of some of these natural hazards. One of the things about wildfires is there's lots of practical steps that people can take around planting flammable resistant, I think is the term, species near their houses, clearing gutters and clearing defensible space around their house. So it's one of those natural hazards that people can take steps to address. So that's one thing that we really want to work with communities about, is how we can empower residents to take some of those steps to tackle the risk they face. And finally, obviously, the rebuild of South Library is trucking along. As a board, we're really excited about some of the next steps. One of the things that will be coming up and was flagged in the report to council is, of course, the work on the cultural narrative that's going to go into the rebuild of the library. And that's something that we're really excited to be able to, facilitate and be part of as a board. One thing that is starting to come up from the community is obviously with this facility out of action, how will the services that are currently delivered at this location be delivered to the Cashmere community? And we're really aware that the South Library is one of the busiest libraries in the network as a lending facility. So we really want to make sure that during that interim period, there are great options available to the community to access council services, particularly libraries. And that is everything, I believe.
Okay. That's absolutely brilliant, and you're spot on time. Thank you very much. Good on you. Fendleton Waimari Harewood, please. Who we got? Jason and Marianne, please. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody.
Morning.
So decisions we've made under delegation, we approved the routes of paths and boardwalk along the Puahara Kekenui Styx River Network and its tributaries, approved an application to our discretionary response fund to the Christchurch City BMX Club, approved 3 applications to our YDF, and approved the first of our Better Off funding allocations to Friends of Botanic Gardens, Burnside Tennis Club, Burnside Bowling Club, and the Parks Unit. The cooler weather did not deter local community from enjoying Celebrate Bishopdale, which we held on Saturday the 25th of November. Local schools, community groups and organisations all taking the opportunity to celebrate living in Bishopdale. A huge array of free fun activities for the kids, including the New Zealand Police with their radar gun, cricket, netball and top team activities, bouncy castles and face painting, which my kids particularly enjoyed. The stage performances also showcased the hugely talented community we have right here in our own backyard. Special appearances by Angelfish Kids, the Backyard Skiffle Band, and Swarm Studios hip hop group certainly got the kids entertained and involved up on the stage playing instruments and dancing. Many families were very appreciative of the free sports gear they acquired through the Give Gear, Get Great repurposing sports gear initiative. This is a great way to recycle gear to families in our communities. A big vote of thanks goes to our Community Recreation Advisor, Lisa Gregory, for organising the event, and to our local community governance team who worked really hard on the day. And thank you to our Mayor for coming along and opening the event. The end of year thank you breakfast for the Whenutun Waimari Harewood Community Liaison Network meeting was held on Thursday the 30th of November at St Barnabas in Pendleton. It was a chance for the community group representatives, the community board and governance staff to connect, have fun and check out the upgraded buildings at St Barnabas following earthquake repairs and re-strengthening. Around 30 people attended the gathering, and Community Board Chair Bridget Williams gave a lovely speech thanking the groups and staff for their mahi over the year. The breakfast was cooked by the governance team, and prior to eating, everyone enjoyed a little Christmas quiz. Gifts for first and last place in the scoring were given. It was also a time to acknowledge the many people who the holiday season may not be a festive or happy time for, and many of whom our groups work with. Our Community Development Advisor, Natalie Daly, finished with a thank you to everyone who continue to support our communities and a reminder to take some time for themselves to continue being the great people they are. The Helen Anderson Trust have been fortunate to be gifted the use of some private land in Whenutun off Clyde Road to establish a pop-up community garden. The Bishopdale Men's Shed made some relocatable planter boxes for garden beds, and participants from the Helen Anderson Trust have been working on getting the space ready, filling the boxes with dirt, and they want to acknowledge the help from the Men's Shed for building the main structure to individual aged from 16 years up. Opportunities that reflect their interests as well as helping them to achieve their personal goals. Thank you very much.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Right, someone must have a question. Don't all speak at once. Yeah, heated seat. Good on you. Thank you very much. Good on you. And Merry Christmas. Righto. Papanui Inner Central. Emma as Simon. Thank you.
Kia ora koutou, thank you very much for having us along to present to you today. As usual, we're just going to give you a quick rundown on what's been happening in our Waipapa Papanui Inner Central Community Board area over the last month. At our November meeting, we approved the design for the Avebury Park play space upgrade. There was a large amount of feedback to the consultation on this much loved play space, and it was good to see staff make some changes to the plans in response to that feedback. That upgrade will take place after the summer season, so as to avoid disruption to the hugely popular paddling pool. At that meeting, we also approved a couple of discretionary response fund applications, which you can see there, and we heard public forum presentations from Belfast school students, the recipient of our Rangatahi Youth Award from Te Aratai College, and from Anne Galloway from Hagley College about their role in supporting the resettlement of former refugees and migrants. We've spoken to you before about our new Rangatahi Awards we've offered to schools to present this year. Here you can see the first recipient of Papanui High School's award, Liam McCullum, whose hard work for several of the school's community-orientated projects was recognised.
Tēnā rā koutou katoa. Acknowledging the role of the Shirley Village project and also support from the Council Parks team in progressing the repurposing of a disused flying fox at McFarlane Park into a slackline for the community there. This was an idea that was pitched by a local resident to a kind of a share an idea event held by the Shirley Village project, and it's been implemented with the help of volunteers from that local community. So a really successful local project there. At Lancaster Park, thank you from the park, and it's a first step towards what will be a full plant out as part of our urban forest plan as well.
October the 31st saw a few light parties happening in our communities, offering families an alternative way to celebrate Halloween. Both the Neighbourhood Trust's light party at the McFadden Centre and the Shirley Community Trust's one at Emmett Street Church were well attended and enjoyed by all those who went.
In early November, we had Whakaoho, which is the Papanui Community Day. The rain was hosing down on this day, but despite the weather, there was a really fantastic turnout from our local community. A large number of events and activities with that family-friendly kind of focus. And just acknowledging all of those who contributed to that day, which includes council staff as well as volunteers from community organisations and local members of the community.
Youth in the Northwest were offered the opportunity to attend the annual pool party at Jelly Park last week, and it was as popular as ever. The event is a collaboration between council staff from our board and the Waimero board, and also the Papanui Youth Development Trust, with PYDT providing the music and running a dance-off. There was a sausage sizzle and a manu competition, making it a great way to finish the school year and start the summer for our rangatahi.
And finally, one of the priorities of our board this term relates to flooding in our board area. Our governance team has now produced a severe weather community readiness resource, which you can see a wee screenshot of there. The full document is available online on our community board page, our refreshed board page. And it's a resource to assist community groups and all local residents to assess to be prepared and ready for severe weather events. That's us.
I'd just like to finish by wishing you all a Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays from our board. Thanks.
And absolutely same to you. Thank you very much. Councillor Johansson's got a question.
Thank you, and thank you for the work you're doing on Lancaster Park. I was just curious if the final detailed design plan has been approved by the community board yet, or if not.
The planting plan has, yes.
Yep. Is there an actual landscape plan?
Yes.
Yep. There's the tree planting plan that the board approved a few meetings ago now, earlier this year.
Right, and does that include where the community facilities are going and the playground,
No.
etc.?
It allows space
yeah,
for those future facilities.
But not the detail.
Okay. So
Okay.
is there, because I was under the impression that there would be a finalised detailed design plan for Lancaster Park, but I've never seen one. Is it possible to get that circulated?
Andrew Rutledge will be able to answer this question for you, Councillor Johansson.
Sure. You may recall, Councillor, that there's the work that's going on at the moment around landscaping has pretty much been derived from an approved spatial plan. So other projects and initiatives are developing, and they'll be put in front of the board as the designs hit concept. And I can't remember exactly when, but options were put on the community building to the board maybe 6 months plus ago. The process for that is progressing. Once that's secured, we'll know exactly what can be done with the playground. So all of the initiatives that have been approved by the board after all of the stakeholder engagement and community engagement are still in that plan and are still being delivered.
Sorry, the memo I've got says a detailed plan would be done by the end of 2019. I still haven't seen the detailed plan, but that's okay. I'll chase it up offline.
Yep, no, we're used up. Yep, thank you very much. Okie doke. Thank you for
Thank
coming
you.
in, and Merry Christmas. I'm right on it. Thank you to all the boards for their final presentations of the year. And I'd like to ask the mover, who is Councillor Cotter, and the seconder, who is Councillor Scandrett, to receive the monthly